Right, are you guys here for me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, why? Can you maintain your distance there?
Can. Of course, yeah.
And also identify yourselves. Did you just switch your camera on?
Yeah.
Alright, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy, alright? Also yours, please don't delete that. I'll be requesting a copy.
Of course.
Alright, can you identify yourselves, please,
Can I
officers?
ask you first, sorry, what was your first name, my friend?
I'm not at liberty to give you that. When you approach a member of the public, you identify yourself. That's your policy, so identify yourself.
Okay. So my name is Simon Tops, Police Constable 693, Simon Tops, Avon, Somerset Police.
And yours is?
My colleague.
5512, Josh Brunel.
Alright, and what crime have I committed, or do you suspect me of committing?
Okay, what are you being so hostile?
I'm not being hostile, I'm just asking you, because when police approach me,
Yeah.
police come to deal with crimes, do they not?
Not necessarily, no.
What do they come to deal with? Civil matters?
Well, we're here to prevent crime.
So what crime do you suspect me of about to commit?
Not suggesting you're committing a crime at all. So.
Alright then.
What was your first name, so I can talk to you on first name basis?
No, it's fine, I'm not going to give you that.
Okay. Are you filming at the moment?
I am indeed, for my own protection.
What's the purpose of you filming?
My own purpose.
Right.
The officers walk up to Ed without greeting him or explaining why they are there. There is no introduction and no clear reason given for their presence. Because of that, Ed has to ask them who they are and what they want. That alone shows how casually they entered the situation without setting any clear ground rules for the conversation. When Ed asks a simple and reasonable question, what offense they believe has happened, the officers avoid giving a direct answer. Instead of explaining their concern, they quickly label him as hostile. That kind of label is often used too quickly when someone calmly asks officials to explain their actions, but asking questions is not aggressive behavior. It is simply someone expecting a clear and fair explanation from people in authority. Ed is only asking them to meet the basic standard of explaining why they're getting involved. If the officers truly believed a rule had been broken, they should have been able to say exactly what it was right away. Clear communication would have avoided confusion and made the situation much easier for everyone involved.
Can I ask why you're here at the
Can I ask you a question? Am I being detained?
No, you're not being detained, no.
See you later then.
But you can't go through there.
I just asked the gentleman if I could go through and he
Okay,
says yeah.
Chris?
Did you not just tell me the way to the bus station?
You did ask me where the bus is, alright?
And left at the machine and all the way down?
I did say that.
Yeah.
Okay, can
Okay.
I just...
No, you can't actually.
Okay, well, whilst you're walking, I'll just make it quite
Are you
clear
following
for
me?
I'm not following
You're
you.
harassing me.
I'm not harassing
I'm trying to
you,
walk away.
talking to
Okay, I'm
you.
going to go this way instead then.
No, if you...
So if you no, I'm going to go to the bus stop.
Okay.
Okay. Leave me alone. All right.
Okay, that's fine. If you make your way to the bus stop, that'd be great.
I'm not going. You're not going to follow me.
What?
Which way are you going?
Sorry?
Which way are you going?
Look, if you don't want me to follow...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
I'm not here to call...
I'm just asking you which way you're going.
It doesn't matter which way I go, I can go whichever way I like. I'm not being...
Alright, I'll wait for you to go then.
I'm not being dictated to by you.
Do you know your
where
oath?
I go, alright?
Do you know your oath?
Yeah, I do.
Can you say it to me?
No,
I'll start you
I'm
off.
not going to say it to you.
I'll start you off.
I'm not here to justify my actions.
No,
to
you're
you.
here to uphold the law.
I am.
Have I broken it?
Not at the moment you haven't.
So leave me alone.
The officers clearly tell Ed that he is not being detained. Hearing that, he does what any free person would do. He begins to walk away. If someone is not being held, they have every right to leave and continue with their day. That should have been the end of the interaction, but the situation quickly changes. As Ed starts to leave, the officers suddenly begin asking where he is going and follow behind him. Their actions make it seem like his freedom only exists in words, not in practice. It creates confusion about whether he is truly free to go or not. The reality is simple. Either a person's movement is being restricted or it isn't. You cannot say someone is free while also trailing them and questioning their steps. That mixed message only makes the situation more tense at that point. The conversation shifts toward pride and authority. Ed asks the officer to repeat the oath he took when he joined the force. He isn't asking to cause a scene. Instead, he is reminding the officer of the responsibility and standards that come with the job. However, the officer refuses and says he does not need to explain himself. That response says a lot about the moment. Law enforcement is a public service role, and clear explanations are part of that responsibility, not something that can simply be ignored.
This isn't consensual.
That's fine.
Policing by consent. Leave me alone.
Okay, off you go then.
No, I will
Have a
go.
nice day.
I will go when I'm ready.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Cool.
Have a nice day.
I will. I'm actually having a lovely day.
Okay. If you could make your way to the bus station, though,
Why?
that would be great.
Why?
Okay, that's fine. I'm not here.
So why do you keep telling me what to do?
I'm not telling you what to
You
do.
are. You just said make your way to the bus station.
You
Like,
said
what
you were
right?
making your way-
Can I just ask you, what right do you have to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law?
Okay.
You haven't got a right to tell me what to do when I haven't broken the law. So stop trying to bully me.
I'm not trying to.
Yes,
bully
you are. You're trying to
find
tell
out-
me what to do.
I'm trying to find out why you're walking around a university
Because
with
I'm
a camera.
I'll tell you why. Because I'm allowed to.
Okay.
Photography is
But
not a
some
crime.
of this university is private premises.
No, it's not, bro.
It is.
Do you know?
Okay,
Are you
that's where you're wrong.
are you familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972?
No, I'm not.
No,
No,
you're
not
not. But you
particularly.
should be.
Okay.
Because it's the law.
Okay.
Which says at the material time of operating, the public are allowed access, whether upon payment or not.
To where?
Anywhere that is open. This is a public space. These lines were painted by the council.
The conversation slowly turns into a form of quiet pressure. The officers begin giving orders, as if their position alone automatically makes those orders lawful. When that approach does not work, they switch to another claim, saying the area is private property, as though repeating it with confidence will make it true. Ed stays calm and avoids turning the situation into an emotional argument. Instead, he focuses on the legal structure behind the issue. He asks the officer if he is familiar with Section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972, a rule that recognizes the public's right to access places where people are normally allowed to go. The officer openly admits that he is not familiar with that section of the law. That moment is important because it shows that the officer may be trying to enforce limits he cannot clearly explain. When someone is setting boundaries without understanding the legal basis, they're relying on assumption rather than proper knowledge. Ed then points out something visible on the ground. The road has council markings that usually indicate a public highway. Those markings are typically placed on roads meant for public use, not on areas that are truly restricted or closed to the public.
I think you're mistaken.
No,
This part of
I'm
this
not.
university is private property.
Can I just ask you
There
another
is
something?
public access
If I
to
was to
part
say
of
to
the
you,
university.
if I was to say to you, I'm not going anywhere, what could you do?
Sorry?
If I was to say to you, I'm not going to leave now, what could you do?
Well, I don't intend to do anything
You
at the moment.
couldn't do anything because I haven't broken the law. When those guys rang you and reported a crime, what you should have said to them is not breaking
They
the
have
law.
reported a crime.
What did they do?
Reported a suspicious person filming at a university campus.
Is photography a crime? You're recording. You're
Well, I
recording.
don't know.
You guys, let
How
me
do
just
I
say,
know
you,
that you're not filming for terrorist
do you know,
purposes?
you see that on your uniform?
Yep.
That thin blue line thing.
How
That is
do
an utter disgrace.
How do I know?
You disgrace the country with that.
How do I know that you're not filming for terrorist purposes?
Sir, we go.
for example?
Sir, we go on what we do know, what we don't, not what we don't.
Well, not necessarily.
No,
That's again
so-
where you're wrong. Isn't
Okay,
It?
so what reasonable suspicion do you have that I'm a terrorist,
Well,
sir?
you're filming a university campus.
So you're
with a
trying to get me
camera.
on Section 43.
No, I'm not.
So why did you mention it then?
Well, because I'm just explaining that you seem to think that I can only act when a crime's been reported. but
No.
all you
You're
do-
more than willing to come up to me and ask me.
Yeah.
If you can articulate reasonable suspicion that I may be a terrorist,
Well, you're walking around a university campus with a camera. And
This is a unit.
And you won't explain why.
but I don't have to.
Security reports him as suspicious, but that alone does not turn legal filming into a crime. It simply means someone felt uneasy about being recorded. Feeling uncomfortable is not the same as someone breaking the law, especially in a place where the public is normally allowed to be. Ed asks a straightforward question. Is recording itself illegal? The officers avoid answering it directly, likely because they know the answer is no. Instead of addressing the question, they shift the conversation to a different claim, suggesting he could be filming for harmful or dangerous purposes. That kind of claim is not based on clear facts. It is built on a worst-case guess rather than real evidence. Making assumptions like that does not create a valid reason to accuse someone of wrongdoing. That Ed responds calmly and gets straight to the point. He explains that proper policing should be based on what is known and proven, not on imagined possibilities. If the only thing someone can point to is a person holding a camera in a public area, then there is no clear reason to suspect a crime. At that stage, the issue is not legality. It is simply that some people do not like being filmed.
Well, then that gives me suspicion of what your activity is.
So you think I'm a terrorist? You have reasonable suspicion that I am up to terrorist activities.
I don't know why you're...
I'm not engaged in any
why are you
hostile
filming?
reconnaissance because I can, as my rights allow me to. Is this not a free country?
Yeah, but...
So, and am I not allowed to own a camera?
You are allowed to
You're
own a camera.
filming. What's the difference between
You're
you
allowed
and
to own a
I?
camera and you're allowed to film.
What's the
And I'm
difference
not-
between you
and
and...
I'm not preventing you
why,
from doing that.
But why
I'm
are you
not
accusing me of
turning
being a
the camera
terrorist then?
I'm not accusing you of being
Well, why
a
are you saying I'm
terrorist.
suspicious?
I'm just saying there are some concerns about your
What concerns?
nature of what you're filming
What
in the
concerns?
university.
What concerns?
But then it gives me suspicion for why you're here with a camera.
Suspicion is not a crime.
No, but it gives me grounds to do certain things if I feel it necessary.
Are you threatening me?
I'm not threatening you.
So what do you mean then?
What the law is.
Well, you don't know the law because that's not
Well,
right.
I think I do.
Well, tell me what reasonable suspicion you have.
Well, why are you filming a university when it's
I'm not telling you.
with a camera?
I'm not telling you.
Okay, well then I'm suspicious.
That's fine. You can be suspicious.
I can, yeah.
Yeah, you can.
But then I can also act on that suspicion
No, you
if I
can't.
feel it appropriate.
You can. Yeah, you can, and I'll sue you.
Okay, well, but that's my decision.
Yeah, I know, and you'll lose your job.
Well, I'm not doing that, am I?
No, because you're scared
But
to.
you're not helping our cause.
I don't
here,
have
are
to
you?
help you.
Ed finds himself repeating the same explanation again and again because the officers keep acting as if the question has never been addressed. He calmly reminds them that filming in an area open to the public is not against the rules just because someone nearby does not like it. Personal discomfort does not change what the law allows. He also points out a clear contradiction in the situation. While they question his camera, the officers themselves are standing there recording him. That moment highlights the real issue. The problem is not the act of recording. It seems to be about who is holding the camera. This double standard is important because it exposes the flaw in their argument. If recording is acceptable for them, it cannot suddenly become suspicious when someone else does in the same place. Consistency matters when authority is involved. Then one officer says that his suspicions give him the right to take certain actions. That statement raises a serious concern. Suspicion alone is not unlimited power. It must be reasonable, clearly explained, and connected to a specific offense before it can justify stepping in.
I don't have to help you, do I?
You don't have to.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, okay. I think we understand where we are.
I know where I understand where I am. I know the
understand
law.
where I
You
am.
don't. You those gentlemen over there, the guys who called the police, whoever called the police, I suggest you go and speak to them about Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, making a false report, because that's wasting police time, which is actually a criminal offence.
Okay. It's been nice talking to you. If you're heading towards the bus stop, then
I'll go wherever I like.
Have a lovely day.
I'll go wherever I like.
Well, you won't go wherever you like.
I will indeed.
Because parts of this.
I'll go
university-
anywhere that is publicly accessible. I will go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one will stop me.
Yeah.
Not those guys up there. Not you guys
But what
either.
you need to understand at the moment.
I don't need to understand
just say
anything.
that
I know the
we're
law.
clear, Is so do I.
Yeah, no, you don't.
So do I. Okay.
You don't. You don't even
This
know
is
what
a-
criminal
this-
justice section 33 of the Criminal Justice Act 1972 is. Do you know it?
This is a
You need to
private.
know the ins and outs.
Of course you know. Of course, if you're gonna uphold the law, you have to know the ins and outs of the law. How can you tell me that you don't have to know the ins and outs
Okay.
of the law, but then you're here to uphold it? How does that make sense?
Ed is not only defending his actions, he also turns the focus back toward the bigger picture. He points out that if anyone might have stepped over the line, it could be the person who made the exaggerated report in the first place. Making claims without proper facts can create unnecessary trouble. That he mentions that the law includes rules about giving false information that waste police time. Yet the officers show little interest in looking into that side of the situation. That detail stands out. They seem very focused on questioning Ed, but not on examining where the complaint originally came from at the T1 point. An officer tells him that he cannot go wherever he wants. That statement would only make sense if they could clearly show a legal boundary he was crossing. Ed calmly explains that he is standing in an area the public is normally allowed to access. Instead of addressing that point directly, one officer casually says that people do not need to know every detail of the law. That comment is significant. It suggests that authority is being used without fully understanding the limits and responsibilities that come with it.
You're even in Somerset Constabulary, innit?
Okay.
Absolute joke.
It's been a pleasure talking to you.
I haven't enjoyed myself, actually. You've ruined my day. So go away now, please.
Parts of the university are private premises. There are public access routes.
I won't go anywhere that is
Okay.
private. I haven't been anywhere that's private, and I will not go anywhere that's
I-
private. As you could probably understand from the way I speak, I know exactly what I'm doing, sir. I know the laws that
Yeah.
surround what I'm doing. I don't appreciate you accusing me of being a terrorist.
Well,
What's your number
I've not
again?
accused you of being a terrorist. I've explained.
693. You threatened
No, I
me. You
haven't.
said, "Oh, now I've got reason."
I've not threatened
mate,
you
listen,
at all.
the camera doesn't lie.
I've not threatened you.
The
at all.
camera
What,
doesn't
you
lie.
can play your camera back.
I will. I'll be playing
I've not
it to
threatened
your
you at all.
superior.
I'm just explaining that if you're filming an empty university that's actually closed at the moment, to the university's actually closed. All right, to the students. It's
I'm not a
closed-
student.
It's closed to staff.
I'm not staff.
So why are you here?
I'm a member of the public, and I'm in a publicly accessible area.
Right.
That's why I'm
Okay.
here.
Well, that's fine. If you want to film
I know it's fine.
in open public spaces,
Yeah, and I'm allowed.
that's fine. But
Yeah.
you won't be filming inside buildings.
I don't want to film inside a
okay?
building.
And if you trespass in private property,
It's a civil matter. Are you telling me that you're going to do something for a civil matter?
I will do.
Okay. Oh, so okay, cool.
The officer then changes the focus and says that if Ed were to enter a building and record inside, he would have to take action. But that situation has not actually happened. It sounds more like a possible future scenario being used to add pressure in the current moment. That Ed calmly recognizes that difference. Talking about something that might happen later does not change what is happening right now. At this moment, there is no evidence that he has crossed any boundary or ignored any clear rule. In many cases, simple trespass is considered a civil matter between the property owner and the person on the land. It does not automatically become a police issue unless certain serious conditions are involved. Because of that, it cannot be used as a general warning when no such situation exists. Right now, Ed is not inside any building, he has not avoided security, and he has not refused any lawful instruction based on a clear legal power. From his point of view, the discussion should stay focused on the present facts rather than imagined situations.
And that's
If
another
security
complaint.
asks you to leave a private
They
premises and you
but I
refuse,
haven't been on private property.
and you refuse
But I haven't
to,
been on private property.
then I'll have
Sir,
to consider
listen.
my powers under the breach of the peace.
Oh, so now you're threatening me for a crime that listen, what part of my behaviour is threatening or abusive?
Well, nothing at the moment.
Okay, so don't threaten me with something that
I'm not
hasn't
threatening
happened
you.
or that isn't going to
I
happen.
also
You
know
are.
the
That's
law.
no. Listen, you're
Okay.
just threatening me with breach of the peace when a breach of the peace isn't going to happen
Well,
because
one
I'm
of
not
my
acting in.
fundamental roles is to prevent a breach of the peace.
Yeah, but there's going to be no breach of the peace because I'm not acting in a
That's
threatening
right.
or abusive
So
behaviour.
All I'm saying is don't go into private
I could-
premises,
listen,
don't film in the
how many
buildings.
times do you want to say that?
Okay, otherwise...
How many times do you want to say that, considering the fact that I said...
And then I'll have to support them to prevent the breach of the peace, is all I'm saying.
Well, that's fine. You
And
could
that's
do.
me knowing my law.
That's fine. You could do that, but
Yeah,
I promise
can,
you that if the course of action that you've just stated happens, I'll sue you,
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to sue
and I'm
me.
going to make a complaint. 3 complaints in this 8 minutes 46 seconds, and 3 complaints about you. You're smart for keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
You can complain.
See you later, then, guys. Go.
Okay.
Be gone.
Suddenly, the officer brings up the idea of a breach of the peace, as if mentioning it adds seriousness to the situation. But that authority is not meant to support a weak argument. It is normally used when there is a real risk of violence or when someone's safety is clearly in danger. Ed stays focused and asks the most important question. What exactly has he done that could be seen as threatening or abusive? It is a fair and direct question that gets to the heart of the matter. If someone is being warned about causing trouble, there should be a clear reason behind it. The officer's response is revealing. He admits that Ed has done nothing threatening at the moment. That statement speaks for itself. If there is no harmful or aggressive behavior taking place, the warning loses its foundation. Without any sign of hostility, growing tension, or people being put at risk, the situation does not match the kind of circumstances where such a power would normally apply. In that case, mentioning it does not solve the issue. It simply adds confusion to a situation that already has clear answers.
No need to be rude.
I'm not being rude.
Okay.
Plus, is rudeness a crime? Is this a free country? If I would like to be rude, I'm well within my rights to be rude.
Okay.
Okay? So go away, please, and leave me alone. You're harassing me.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks
All
very
right?
much.
Go away now. Told me I can't record in there, so now I'm going to have to walk round. You inform these guys that photography is not a crime as well, yeah? You educate these guys on the law. No. You're here. You're a public servant. You're here to uphold the law.
Yeah.
These guys have broken the law by filing a false report.
They have,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. They reported a crime when there wasn't a crime being committed. They made a false report. It is a breach of Section 5 of the Criminal Law Act 1967, and you are failing in your job right now,
Okay.
officer,
Well,
constable.
Thanks very much. It's been very nice talking to you. If you can maintain yourself on the public places,
I'll go wherever I like. Thank you.
You know what my position is.
I'll
in
go
relation
wherever.
to
Yeah, you made threats. You made a threat of
I've not made a
arrest.
threat.
You did. You made an illegal threat of arrest. Bullies, guys.
In the end, what stands out most is not a dramatic argument, but a quiet shift away from the main issue. After all the questioning and strong language, the officers turn their attention back to security. However, there is no clear effort to review the original complaint or confirm whether it was accurate. The person who made the report is not examined on camera, and there is no sign of follow-up or correction. That silence is meaningful, that if the original concern had been strong and well supported, there would be no reason to step away from it. A solid claim would stand on its own and would not need to be quietly redirected elsewhere. The lack of discussion about the source of the report leaves important questions unanswered. There is also a noticeable change in the balance of the interaction. At the beginning, the officers guide the conversation. They ask the questions, set the tone, and treat Ed as if he might be a problem. By the end, that control is much weaker. Ed is not detained, searched, or formally warned. No clear offense is explained, and no lawful boundary is clearly defined. What remains is frustration, not because of disorder or danger, but because the situation never had a clear foundation. When Ed eventually walks away, it is not an act of defeat. It is simply a decision to stop taking part in a conversation that keeps repeating the same points without providing real answers.